So how do I put, or where do I put my holster, right? Where do I need to put it? And how does it need to be oriented? Now, when you get a Safariland holster or some of these other holsters, when uh, the bag shows up, you take it out of the bag, you put it on your belt. They come in a forward cant of about 10 degrees. So that gun is canted forward at about 10 degrees, and that's how the holster comes set up. And most of us just throw the holster on the belt just like that. We rock on. We don't really ever know the difference. But if you pay attention to guys that wear their holster like that out on the range, when they go to draw the gun, they have to lean forward to get their arm lined up with the holster to get the gun out of the holster. Maybe slight, uh, but they pretty much all do it. So let's talk about what it looks like to set that holster up in a place and in an orientation that works specifically for you. We're going to customize it for you just a little bit. So that holster orientation, that 10-degree forward cant, came from the FBI cant. So way back when, right, the FBI used to wear their holsters kind of at that 4:30 or 5 o'clock position so they could keep it hidden under their jacket. And if I take my hand and I line it up at my belt buckle and I start moving it around my belt, you can kind of see how my elbow and the angle of my arm changes as it moves further around. And as I get around to about that 4:30 or 5 o'clock position, that 10-degree forward cant is the right angle to be able to effectively draw the gun out of that holster. Well, the problem is we don't wear our gun in that spot anymore when we go to patrol, right? It's much more in at least a 3 o'clock position, but for most of us, it's actually going to be forward of 3 o'clock. And I'm going to show you how to figure out exactly where your holster should go right now. So we're going to do a couple of different tests. First test we're going to do, we're just going to lift our arms up in the air and let them fall down. Okay, and we're going to do that a couple of times, make sure we have a consistent spot. And what I'm looking for is for my arm to fall into a spot and my gun should be in that spot, right? So if my arms go up and down and they fall right here, well, my gun is not in that spot, so I would need to adjust the gun a little further forward. And I'll tell you, most of us are going to be in that between 2 and 3 o'clock range. So for me, you can see I'm just slightly forward of 3 o'clock, about 2:30 or so. And if I lift my arms up and drop them down, that's exactly where my hand falls. Now for orientation, we're going to do the same thing that we just did. Take your hand, put it on your belt buckle with that straight line, and then start moving it around. And when I get around to the spot where the gun is, that is the orientation or the angle that the gun should be at, okay? So if you'll notice for me, this one's not quite as tilted back as you'll see that my range belt is. So this one would probably need a little bit more adjustment, and there are some products out there that help you to get that holster to adjust back. Even the new Safariland holsters are coming with the ability to cant them back just a little bit. You can basically get them to 0 or maybe -1 degree or so. Places like True North Concepts, Black Box Customs with Centrifuge Training makes a negative cant plate, makes several different versions of it. RDR Gear, in fact, RDR Gear is the one I'm running on this holster right here. They make a version to help you get that holster at least to 0 degrees, but in some cases, all the way back to even -10 degrees, which is pretty extreme on the other side, right? I typically fall somewhere probably in the 4 to 5 degree range. I think this is just shy of that, and so it actually needs to be canted a little bit more. I'll show you what that looks like when we get the other holster or the other belts out here in just a minute. But that's the test. That's all it is. Arm test to figure out where on the belt the holster should go. Straight arm, work it around, and when it gets around to where you draw, that's the angle. You can see it from the side. That's the angle that the gun should be at to most efficiently draw, where I don't have to have a lot of what we call frenetic movement to get the gun out of the holster.